The Magic Tree. Once upon a time, in a small village, there stood a magic tree. This tree was unlike any other tree in the village. Its leaves shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and its bark sparkled like diamonds under the sunlight. In this village, there lived a little girl named Lily. Lily was a curious child who loved exploring the woods near her home. One day, while wandering through the forest, she stumbled upon the magic tree. Amazed by its beauty, Lily reached out and touched the tree's trunk. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the woods. "Welcome, young traveler," the voice said. Startled, Lily looked around but saw no one. "I am the guardian of this magic tree," the voice continued. "I have been waiting for someone like you." Lily's eyes widened with wonder. "Who are you?" she asked. "I am the spirit of the forest," the voice replied, "and I am here to grant you a wish." Lily couldn't believe her luck. She had always dreamed of having an adventure. And now, it seemed like her wish was about to come true. "What would you like?" the spirit asked. Lily thought for a moment. "I wish to explore the world beyond the forest," she said. The spirit nodded. "Your wish is granted," it said. "But remember, with great adventure comes great responsibility." Excitedly, Lily set off on her journey. She traveled through forests and mountains, across rivers and valleys. Along the way, she met many different creatures and made new friends. But as she traveled farther from home, Lily began to miss her village. She realized that while adventure was fun, there was no place like home. With a heavy heart, Lily turned back and began her journey home. When she finally reached the magic tree, she was greeted by the spirit of the forest. "Welcome back, young traveler," the spirit said with a smile. Lily smiled back. "Thank you for granting my wish," she said. "But I've learned that home is where the heart is, and my heart belongs in my village." The spirit nodded. "You have learned a valuable lesson, young one," it said. "And remember, no matter where your adventures may take you, the magic tree will always be here to welcome you home." And with that, Lily said goodbye to the magic tree and returned to her village, knowing that she would always carry the spirit of adventure in her heart. From that day on, whenever Lily looked up at the stars or felt the wind on her face, she would remember her journey and smile, grateful for the magic tree that had brought adventure into her life. And so, the magic tree stood tall and proud in the heart of the forest, its leaves shimmering in the sunlight, a symbol of hope and wonder for all who passed by. Once upon a time, in a cozy forest nestled between two hills, there lived a curious little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was small and brown, with a fluffy tail that twitched with excitement whenever he discovered something new. Every day, Sammy would scamper through the trees, leaping from branch to branch with boundless energy. He loved exploring every nook and cranny of the forest, searching for hidden treasures, and making friends with all the animals he met along the way. One sunny morning, as Sammy was gathering acorns for his breakfast, he heard a faint cry coming from the edge of the forest. Curious, he followed the sound until he stumbled upon a tiny bird with a broken wing. "Oh no, you poor thing," Sammy exclaimed, rushing to the bird's side. "Don't worry, I'll help you." With gentle care, Sammy fashioned a splint for the bird's wing, using twigs and leaves. He then carefully lifted the bird onto his back and carried it back to his cozy nest high up in the trees. For days, Sammy nursed the bird back to health, bringing it food water and keeping it warm with his fluffy tail. And as the bird's wing healed, a friendship blossomed between them that would last a lifetime. Together, Sammy and the bird explored every corner of the forest, from the babbling brook to the shady grove of oak trees. They played games and shared secrets, laughing and chatting late into the night under the twinkling stars. But one day, as summer turned to autumn and the leaves began to fall from the trees, Sammy knew it was time to say goodbye. "I'll miss you, my dear friend," he said, tears glistening in his eyes. "But I know you must fly south for the winter." The bird nodded, its feathers ruffling in the cool breeze. "Thank you for everything, Sammy," it said. "I'll never forget the kindness you've shown me." With a final chirp of farewell, the bird spread its wings and took flight, soaring high above the treetops and disappearing into the horizon. As Sammy watched his friend disappear into the distance, he felt a twinge of sadness in his heart. But he also felt a warm glow of happiness, knowing that he had helped a friend in need and that their bond would never be broken, no matter how far apart they may be. And so, as the seasons changed and the forest fell silent under a blanket of snow, Sammy knew that wherever his friends may be, they would always be connected by the magical bond of friendship. And with that comforting thought in his heart, Sammy curled up in his cozy nest and drifted off to sleep, dreaming of new adventures yet to come. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Emily. Emily loved animals and spent most of her days playing with the creatures that roamed the fields and forests surrounding her home. One sunny afternoon, as Emily was skipping through the meadow, she heard a faint mewing sound coming from behind a bush. Curious, she peeked through the leaves and discovered a tiny kitten, all alone and trembling with fear. "Oh, poor thing," Emily exclaimed, scooping the kitten into her arms. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." The kitten, grateful for Emily's kindness, nestled into her warm embrace. With gentle hands, Emily stroked its fur and whispered soothing words until the kitten stopped trembling and began to purr contentedly. Determined to find the kitten's home, Emily set off through the village, asking everyone she met if they recognized the little ball of fur in her arms. But no one seemed to know where the kitten belonged. As the sun began to set and the shadows grew long, Emily realized that the kitten might not have a home to return to. With a heavy heart, she decided to take the kitten home with her and care for it until they could find its owner. Back at her cozy cottage, Emily fed the kitten a warm bowl of milk and made a soft bed for it by the fireplace. She watched as the kitten curled up on the blanket, its eyes drooping with exhaustion. "You'll be safe here with me," Emily whispered, tucking the kitten in with a gentle touch. For days, Emily cared for the kitten, feeding it, playing with it, and showering it with love. And as the days turned into weeks, the kitten grew stronger and more playful, its tiny meows filling the cottage with joy. But just as Emily had grown fond of her new furry friend, a knock sounded at the door. Emily opened it to find a worried-looking woman standing on her doorstep. "Have you seen my kitten?" the woman asked, her voice trembling with concern. Emily's heart sank. She knew she had to tell the truth, even though it meant saying goodbye to her beloved companion. "I found your kitten in the meadow," Emily said softly, gesturing to the tiny ball of fur curled up by the fireplace. took care of it while I searched for you." The woman's face lit up with relief as she scooped the kitten into her arms. "Thank you so much," she said, tears of gratitude sparkling in her eyes. "You've been so kind to my little Fluffy." As Emily watched the woman and her kitten disappear down the path, she felt a pang of sadness in her heart. But she also felt a warm glow of happiness, knowing that she had helped reunite a lost kitten with its owner. And as she watched the sun set behind the hills, Emily knew that no matter where life's journey may take her, she would always carry the memory of her furry friend in her heart.